Okay, I hope you can see this okay. This is going to be a pieced together video of how I do my bindings for quilts. I'm not saying this is the right way, I'm not saying it's the best way, I'm just saying this is how I do it. So we're going to start with a piece of fabric here. It's before washing 44 inches across, or 45. I'm going to make a slice here to get everything even. Then we're going to cut 2 1/4 inch strips, as many as you need to go around your quilt. So let's pretend we've cut those just to speed things along, and we'll have those 2 1/4 inch strips like so. Let's get that out of the way. So what you want to do is take them, they're just cut at a 90-degree angle there, or you know, straight across. So we're going to line them up like this at a perfect 90-degree angle to each other, right sides together. You're going to make a mark with chalk or a pencil if you need to, and stitch along this diagonal. That will give you something that looks like this. If you can see my stitching line. Then you want to cut that excess off, and you want to just keep going and going until you have enough of these strips to go around your quilt. So we're just going to cut that off at about 1/4 inch. Never cut toward yourself like that. And you can cut these little ears off here if you want to also, just to make it nice and neat. And you'll see that it's a wonderful little strip here. We need that cut off too. It didn't come off. There we go. At your beginning point, you want to cut this at a 90-degree angle also, if you can see that. Then what we're going to do is take this over to your ironing board. Just press that in about 1/4 inch like so. Okay, let me turn around and give it a quick press here. And while we're over here, why don't you come join me? Okay, I pressed that in. So we could also go ahead and press these seams on our binding strip nice and neatly. I'm doing this one-handed, so pardon me. You can press them open or flat to one side. I like flat to one side because I don't want anything peeking through on the other side in case something shows through. So once you get that all joined and pressed, go ahead and fold this in half like so, wrong sides together, and press. Let me see if I can. There we go. So you have this great big long binding strip, and it's going to look like this, only much, much longer for your quilt. This is where you're going to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a quilt together and show you how to sew this onto your quilt, and then how to join this to your other point. So hang with me. Okay, I hope you'll be able to see this okay. This is your quilt. This is the right side, and this is the back side of your quilt. And we're going to go ahead and start attaching the binding. So we're going to start with this part, remember where we pressed that 1/4 inch in? And first you're going to lay it out. And what you want to do is go ahead and just lightly and loosely lay it out on your quilt as though you'll be sewing it, and make sure that none of those seams as you pieced your binding together are going to hit at a corner. If they do hit at a corner, then start your piece a little bit lower or a little bit higher, just to make things easier for yourself. So I like to start somewhere on the longest side, and we're just going to open this up a little bit and go ahead and put a pin. Let me choose one you can see. Hopefully you can see this red pin. Put a pin in about 1 inch or so down, and then go ahead and close that back up. So you're going to start sewing after your pin. So let's go ahead. I like to use a walking foot. If you have a walking foot, use it. If you don't, I put bindings on for many years without one because I didn't have one. So there you go. So just start sewing, and I'll show you one corner. Your corners looked really good on the quilt that you showed me. So stop about 1/4 inch down. remove it from your machine, and as I'm sure your instructor told you, bring it out this way. Mine's a little tight, so I'm just going to remove one little stitch there. You want it to lay nice and just easy like. So go ahead and push it away from you and then bring it back and make a nice little angle there. Go ahead and put it back in your machine and start stitching. So, stitch all the way around, and then before you know it, you're going to be coming down this home stretch again. So we're going to just lay this piece up here and pretend that we've been stitching all along. Where'd my thread go? There we are. Okay. So, we're coming down the home stretch, and because we have this red pin here, we know we're getting close. So keep coming, and then just slow down before you get to that area. Now what you want to do, I think I'm going to have to back up a little bit. Lay this piece flat that comes before that pin and open it up a little bit. Get it nice and laid flat, line it up with the edge of your quilt, and then take your end of your binding and lay it inside. See how it just tucks in there? Lay it inside there. Now, can you cut an angle? Yes, and I usually do just to avoid the bulk. So we're going to take just that end piece, and I like to cut it at a nice 90-degree angle. Can you open it up and make that angle match the angle of your beginning piece? Yes, you can, but I've cut it the wrong way several times and ended up short and had to piece binding back together, so I don't do that anymore. So let's get that tucked back in here again. You might want to use a highly skilled tool like this called a screwdriver. So get it all nice and laid in. Put this under your presser foot, back up a little bit more. So make sure it lays nice and even. And then come on down, remove your pin, and sew past your beginner point. Okay, take it out of your machine, and you'll see, hopefully, that it's really nice, except there's a gap, of course. So this is when you just want to take a needle and thread and do an invisible stitch along here. I stitch all the way around into the back too, just for strength, and just close it up. There's no matching, there's no muss, no fuss, and it'll be a nice match. I already have this quilt bound, well, the front part put on the binding over here, so let's take a look at that. Let's see if we can find my start point real easily. I know where to look for it. I must have done a good job because I can't find it. Ha ha ha. Here it is. As you can see, this is my binding piece here. That's the back, and this is what will be brought around to the front. And you really can't tell that it wasn't done by machine. So that's the scoop. I hope that helps, and let me know if you have any more questions.